guys, welcome back to Southern Latitudes. I have a quick little get started, but then I have to wait and do again tomorrow. So since it's a multi-step thing, and this part's really easy, I'm just going to start it right after that last video I made for you. So today is about ranunculus. I gotta get them started. Probably should have started them a week or two ago, but I keep forgetting. But I don't think it's too late because we're kind of having a warm week. So this is tecolote ranunculus pink. That's all I know is they're pink. And we're just kind of wake them up and revive them. They are very dry and dehydrated. And yes, we are waking them up in winter. That's what everybody says. Now, I started ranunculus last spring. Oh, earlier this year. Okay. And they didn't work out so good. And I also started a bunch of gladioluses. I bought from two really big advertisers on Instagram for, you know, bulbs and stuff like that, and corms and rhizomes. Well, it turned out that none of my colors were the right colors. Those videos are in the history. I don't want to go through that again. But I had a little rebate. Now, they should have rebated me all of my money for what they did. But I got a little rebate. So I bought these little pink ranunculus for this. I bought 10 ranunculus from them last year. And like, I only had one or two kind of make it. And then on top of that, I had no flowers, actually. Oh, I also bought canna lilies. These, okay, so these are those. I dug them back up. This is separate than the pink. I think I got around 10 of those. And then these are just what I found left over in the container that they were in originally. Okay, here's another one. I thought I had a little bit more. There's really not that many in there. And I just put them in some perlite. Yeah, I think that's it. Just 4. So that's what these are. And we're just going to, they don't even look, boy, look at the difference between this. They look like little spiders, don't they? Can you see that? It's really cute. And these look terrible. So I don't put any hope in them, but we're going to go through the process with them just in case they decide to wake up and perk up. So I'm going to let these go overnight, and we'll be back tomorrow with the rest of the process. My onions came in. Finally, they're a day late. They were supposed to come yesterday. Something happened with FedEx. I don't know. I'm not going to ask questions. They're here now. So let's get them opened up and look at them. There we go. The lighting's better that way. Woo! Dirt. There's dirt in the packet. Georgia clay. Okay, there we go. Can you see that okay? So let's see, this is the Vidora. This is the Sofire reds. Well, these look really nice. And this is the 1015 whites, which I have grown before, and they look great. And they taste great. These are more like a yellow round, and these are more like a granite flat. See, there's little pictures. Of course, you could go to their website and see it too. And the Sofires are red. And I still love my Chiantis, but this is going to bail me out of a bad situation because of the flooding we had. And last year they bailed me out because we had hurricanes. Which one of those hurricanes, Milton, went right over my house. Of course, it wasn't as strong as it was on the Gulf side, but it still went completely over my house. The whole eye. Okay. Let's do it this way so I know it's different. Although it's pretty obvious those bulbs are big. These are beautiful. Beautiful. I don't know who the grower was, but you guys did excellent. I don't think Haas grows them themselves. Here's the reds. Yeah. And you know, it's reasonable. I think that's 50, 50, 50, 150, but he said they actually put in more than that. And I think there's about 60 to 70 in each grouping. And so, yeah, there's probably 200 onions right here. That is excellent. Very happy about that, you guys. That saves people a lot of grief. If you don't want to try to grow your own onions, this is like a really reasonable way to go. I do like to get my onions in sooner, but these are so big, that'll make up for lost time. Okay, here they are, back in their original box for now. But I just put them here. And we are going to get them in the ground fast. The sun is just coming up. It's like 7:10 in the morning. And what I did was, over the last day, I was looking for, I'm trying to follow a man named Donnie Glover, who is very knowledgeable in all things gardening for the Southeast, and that was his job for a long time. And then he works very closely with Haas and the forum members, and he kind of teaches us how to garden. Well, he puts a 13 13 13 down before he starts his onions, and I couldn't find that. I couldn't even find a 6 6 6 or a 10 10 10 or 20 20 20. I couldn't find anything balanced like that at Lowe's for whatever reason. They might just be out. So I went in a completely different direction. I went with Espoma, and I also see a very famous Laura from Garden Answer. She puts this on everything, including her onions and leeks and whatever she does. So it is a 433, but it also has all the mycorrhizome things, and her stuff grows amazing. So since I have the onions above ground that I was going to fertilize anyhow with ammonium sulfate, because they need another hit of that, but I thought what I would do is just do this across the whole 3 rows, and it smells, y'all. It definitely has an odor. And then get the other live plants in along with the plants that are already there. That way it can be worked into the soil, but it also can stay on top and soak down in, because it's getting irrigation every day. So I just thought I would just try this while everything's coming out of shock and going right back into the ground, and then I'll return back to my ammonium sulfate. But for now, let's get at it. Here you go, you guys. That's a look at all of the Haas in. Of course, are the big ones. Mine are like a downsize, but they're there. They're there. A lot of these, since I had, just fertilized and was moving things and transplanting, I picked some of these that were clumped and put them over here and in there. I just spread them out so they'd have a little bit more room to grow. And the last thing I need to do before we're done is take some of these shallot clumps. I got a few, and space them out very well. Now you might notice that, or maybe you didn't, if I stood at the end you'd say, Robin, your rows are a little wonky. So usually I try to put one on each side of the drip line, but as I got down about in this section, there was so much, well no, maybe like right there, there was so much space between the drip lines. I went for it, and they all get water because it's more like a spray than a drip. And so I thought, heck, I'm just gonna throw, I have so many onions. 150 is so much more than I realized. I had no idea that 150 was gonna like fill up this whole bed. It's, well, the 3 rows, and I don't remember how many feet. These might be about 23, 24 feet on this side, and then it's like 26 feet on that side. For whatever reason, when I cut this bed, I didn't cut it all the way to the end of the fence gate. But this bed is, I don't know. Well, I don't know. I had a flower bed there, and then it could have been it was slightly longer, but then the grass grew and I just let it go. It actually works for me because a lot of times I put vines in this area, and I do let them come over. So by the time we get to August and the vines aren't ready to harvest, there is room for the big trucks to come in to either dump manure, compost, mulch, or trim trees. So it works, but it does make this bed only about 23 feet, I think. And of course there's 3 rows double planted plus a little extra there. I can't do math. It's a lot of onions. And that seems to be sufficient for us. I should give you a little bitty update. So we've run out of all of our yellow onions here right before Thanksgiving. We have a few more, maybe 10 more of the small white phantoms. And then I have 2 bags still of red onions. So apparently I don't use red as much as everything else. Oh, buddy, yuck. So anyhow, let me finish this up, and then I'm gonna go in the house and get a drink and stuff. I purposely don't eat and drink before I do all this bending over. But it looks great. I'm so happy with the instant gardens, man. You can't hardly beat that, right? It was worth the dollars. Let me go fix these shallots down here. It's gonna require some little finessing and delicate handwork. Okay, well, the shallots, what were they? Tropea de Rosa, like red from the city of Tropea, Italy. Anyhow, those are spaced out so much better. If that ever happens to you where you have a bunch of onion seed that all clumps close together, you can always move them as they become less fragile and more movable. Kind of like these house ones are definitely movable. Let's see, just for, in case you're new and tuning in, these are Georgia Southern Collards. I have a row of Godzilla broccoli right here. I have alternating Mammoth Red cabbages here. I also have nasturtiums that just resow themselves every year. And I let them have the majority of their way. They can't be right in the middle. Well, that one's in the middle, but that's because the cabbage didn't come up at first. I put in 2 transplants there later. But anyhow, Savoy cabbage, alternated with the Mammoth Red. until we get down here, and then we have some stone heads, which look great. I wish I had put all my stone heads there. They're starting to curl over, as you can see, and make little heads. It's fantastic. I don't think the broccoli, is the broccoli doing that? I didn't even look. No, they're not making heads yet, but that should happen very soon. And then we come down here. That's another stone head. Then I had 3 capture cabbages, and then I had 3 jade cross Brussels sprouts, and yes, I did start those from my own seed. And this one is shading out the one in the middle, unfortunately. Now would be the time to move that. I don't know where would be a great place. I could just put it in the middle of nowhere because it's still getting wet, but it would have more sunshine. Huh. Heck, let's do that, because I don't like that it's getting all that shade. Let's do that right now. Okay, let's dig. I just weeded this with the hoe, so it's nice and soft. Let's go ahead and take as much soil as I can. Oh, I hear a couple things breaking, but overall we moved it with soil. It shouldn't really skip a beat. It's right back into wet soil, almost the same exact sunlight it had. There you go. And now it can have a better chance at life. And I really do. Oh my goodness, y'all. I have no regrets that I took a straight needle and I pinned up every bit of this drip irrigation and made it more like a fine mist. I have no regrets at all that I did that, because I feel like things, the little things that weren't on the drip, it frees me up to move things around that aren't under a drip line. I kind of like that. And I also like that I made better space with all this extra onions. I would have had to give away onions if I didn't have the little pinholes in the misting. And the other thing is, you know, it just waters those babies better until they get up and have real roots. And here it won't be on a line, but it'll definitely get plenty of water every single day because the irrigation's going, and these 2 lines are still supplying this with waters. So it looks great. I couldn't be happier with this bed. When we get back from Thanksgiving holidays, we'll start working on this for the garlic and the leeks. And I've actually thought about moving my garlic, but I don't know. We'll probably just leave it here. Hopefully the tiller will be back to working. But the garlic, I don't think comes out of the refrigerator to the 2nd week of December. So it's vernalizing. It's cold vernalizing. So okay, that concludes this project for today. I have to go on and finish up some other projects now as well. So you guys take care, God bless, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Buddy, are you crushing everything you can? Okay, you guys, I left my ranunculus in the water way too long. You only need about 3 hours or so. But I left mine for 2 days because I got extremely busy yesterday. I had more things to do than I had hours in the day. But we're here now. I dumped out the water. Again, 3 hours is probably all you need, but I went ahead and I have the pink picotees, and then I have whatever was left over from last year, which it might be okay. They never really fully developed, so, but they were also grown in the wrong season, and that's why they were sent in the wrong season. I kept trying to tell them I'm in Florida. You know, ranunculus are more for like zones 8 through 10. And of course you can do it in lower zones, but you need to probably start in a greenhouse and other things like that. But in Florida, you can actually start it. Shh. In Florida, you can start it in the fall, and then you can just put, I don't barely get any freezes or frost, so I could put mine directly out, but I'm not. I'm gonna pre-start mine in these trays, and this is, grab up some of this. I'm just going to put a light coating down here. Pre-sprouting is pretty doggone easy. It's as easy as it gets. And the ranunculus are pretty responsive to it. So I have my little tray here. Let's bring you in just a little closer so you can see directly what I'm doing. And they are literally gonna go, I hope you can see that. They're gonna go one right next to the other. They look like these little, these are corms. And so you put them in there, my little octopi, right there. I hope you can see that okay. Does that help? I need to angle on it so you guys can see. You can put them side by side. You could even put them tighter than this. This is what I'm just gonna do real quick. Again, you can skip this step. If you're in Florida, you can go directly into the ground. But just make sure they're a kind of protected area. And I mean that from like footsteps, whatever. Like I got a dog that steps on everything. So anyhow, there's the first set. But also if you're going down to freezing, so you're like in North Florida or South Georgia or something, I'm gonna put these over here. If you happen to get a light frost, you're probably okay because they're in the ground. But if you get a hard frost, you really ought to, well, these look like they were starting to root up. You really want to throw a cloth, not a shade cloth, like a fabric cloth or something over them to protect them. If you're gonna be down to not just 32, but like into the 20s, like 28 or something, you definitely want to protect them more. Okay, and then I'm just gonna put a light topping on them. Just barely enough, you know, I can kind of see the tops. And then right there, actually I'm gonna take some of this because I don't need all of that. Yeah, there's nothing on this side. Nothing gonna be on this side either. There we go. All right. I can barely see them. You just want, as soon as they start throwing up a green shoot, you want to be able to see it. So I only had 4 of whatever colors. Those were mixed colors on that one. And then, okay, so then we'll put a dome top on it. The soil's already very pre-moistened. And then I probably actually just stick it in my shed. And then I don't have to worry about it while I'm gone on vacation. This will keep the humidity in the soil moist going inside there, but also it'll protect it from like squirrels or something, or anole lizards. So let's do that next.